Welcome to Witness 28. This release is focused on one thing, making everyday modelling feel smoother, whilst giving you clearer insight and better control where it matters most. You'll notice a modern visual refresh straight away, from the start page and demo models through to updated icons and cleaner styling. But the most important changes are deeper than appearance. Witness 28 is designed to reduce friction in the way you build, navigate and analyse models without changing how you think about modelling. In the next few minutes we'll walk through the key improvements: a faster, more intuitive canvas-like experience, smarter insight with new state attributes, major usability upgrades to data tables and experimentation, and deeper material handling, visibility and control. Let's start with the UX refresh, because this is what you'll feel immediately in day-to-day use. Witness 28 treats the layout more like a canvas-based design tool. You can pan using the right mouse button, zoom naturally at the cursor position, and even drag elements beyond the visible area to auto-scroll the canvas, so you can place objects precisely in large models without constantly stopping to reposition your view. The layout now opens centered on the canvas, making it easier to expand in any direction, and non-usable regions are clearly highlighted so your modelling bounds are always obvious. Object manipulation is also much more direct. Handles have been redesigned to be clearer and more responsive, and resizing no longer relies on keyboard modifiers just to do the basics. Drag to resize, drag the body to move. If you want precision controls, they're there. Hold Shift to keep proportions or Control to lock the object center while resizing. The result is a faster, more fluid layout workflow, especially when you're building or tidying complex models. User-defined utilization uses state attributes that can only take values from a predefined list of states that you specify. That small constraint makes tracking and reporting dramatically clearer, because instead of free-form values, you now have a structured, consistent definition of what each state means in your model. Once defined, you can set state values in actions as usual, and you also get supporting functions to work with state indices and names, so you can write cleaner, more robust logic. The real payoff is insight. Witness can now track how long parts spend in each of your custom states, and Explode reporting has been updated to show time percentages per state and how often those states were entered. That means that lead time stops being a mystery. Your report can show how much is value added, how much is waiting and where delays accumulate. And it's not limited to parts. State attributes can be used on other elements too as group 0 attributes, so you can build your own utilization breakdowns beyond the standard measures, aligned to the specific states that matter in your process. Data tables are often at the heart of real models: job lists, routing logic, schedules and live working data. Witness 28 makes them much easier to manage during a run, with new functions that remove common workarounds. First, working with rows. You can now insert rows where you need them and delete rows based on their contents, without writing loops just to keep a table in shape. That makes it far easier to maintain clean, up-to-date tables in live model logic. Second, columns by name. Instead of relying on column positions where a table change can break logic, you can reference fields using DT column and the column name. It's a small change that makes models more readable and much less fragile over time. And when you're building or modifying logic, there's a very practical workflow improvement. You can right-click a data table in the element tree and use Insert Field to insert the correct field reference into rules, actions or expressions, reducing mistakes and speeding up editing. Witness 28 also improves how data table works with Experimenter, so you can run variations without exploding your model with extra variables. You can now bring data table contents into Experimenter as parameters and choose how those parameters behave over time. You'll see two options: import from data table and link to data table. Import takes a snapshot of the table data at the time you create the parameter and stores it with the experiment. making it ideal when you want a stable baseline you can return to. Link, on the other hand, takes a fresh snapshot whenever Experimenter is opened, so it's better when your baseline data changes between runs and you want the experiment to reflect those updates. The result is controlled experimentation with less duplication, especially for models driven by schedules, routing tables, or scenario data. Material handling also gets a meaningful boost in Witness 28, especially around visibility and control in conveyor and track-based systems. First, you can now trigger logic when items leave key elements, actions on output from conveyors and tracks, so you can make decisions at precisely the handover points where real systems often branch or prioritize. Second, journey logging has been expanded. You can track how parts move through conveyors, including events that capture movement detail, building on existing logging for paths, tracks and vehicles, and you can control all of your journey logging directly via actions using functions to enable logging and set the output log file location. Finally, vehicles gain more flexibility with uncall. Previously, once a vehicle was assigned via call and vsearch, it couldn't be reassigned. Uncall lets you free up vehicles either broadly or with more specific conditions, making dynamic dispatch and reoptimization far easier to model. Witness 28 has enhancements to the debugger, actions editor and property pane, as well as improvements to menus and file handling. It has new and improved functions including state handling, element and instance iteration, window control, dimensions and positioning, and there are new system attributes too. You'll notice general usability improvements and additional keyboard shortcuts to improve productivity. Witness 28 is all about removing friction from day-to-day modelling. A more fluid canvas experience helps you build and navigate faster. State attributes give you a clearer explanation of utilisation in your own terms. Data tables and experiment become more natural tools for real model workflows, and material handling gains deeper insight and better control. Put simply, Witness 28 gives you a faster path from question to answer, with clarity and control where it matters.